Welcome to Relationship Coaching Group Podcast. Whether this is your first visit or you've been following us, don't forget to download this podcast to reference later, because here we keep it real with scenarios, tips, and suggestions, everything relationship centered. Hello, I'm Roxanne, your relationship coach and host, along with my co-host, the professor. And together we've been coaching couples and singles for over 20 years, and now we're here to work with you. So get ready for today's podcast, because we're going to be talking about relationship or situationship. But before we begin, let's welcome the professor. Hello, Professor.
Hello there. Wow, I love this topic.
Yeah.
This is one of those topics that is very big in our field, where we get a lot of people who don't know where they stand. They don't know if it's a real relationship or a situationship.
That's right.
Lay it on me.
Okay. The question would be, how do I know if I'm in a relationship or if I'm in a situationship? You know, you talk every day, you spend time together, there's chemistry, but there's no label. So what is this? Situationships often feel like relationships, but without the clarity, security, or consistency. What's your take on that, Professor?
Wow. Well, there are several levels to this, because there is the relationship that is disguised. There's a situationship, I should say, that's disguised as a relationship, where they see you on their terms. A lot of time you don't go out much. He or she is just coming over to your place. You get your booty thing going on, kick boots, and then, you say all what you need to say because it makes it feel right. They tell you they love you and they leave. But it's not a relationship. It's a situationship. And there's a lot of that. But there is different levels to it.
Right.
And this is where people get seriously hurt.
Got it. Now, some people may, kind of what you're saying, feel that they're in a relationship, but not really.
Oh, yeah.
So let's define the difference.
Far away.
Okay? In a relationship, there is a clear mutual agreement about what you are. Both people understand expectations such as exclusivity, communication, future direction, and lastly, there's consistency and accountability. Now, you want to look at situationship, the definition of what I gather?
Well, a situationship, that's pretty easy. One party wants the intimacy of a relationship, but don't want the committed part. That's plain and simple.
Okay.
They want the goodies, but they don't want the relationship part. So it's friendship with benefits, whatever you want to dress it up as. And it's not just men, women do it too. And believe it or not, there's a lot of women that do it today.
Got it. Well, I have a little definition.
Go ahead.
I like yours. Situationship could be undefined, unclear, or we're just going with the flow. Or one or both people avoid labeling it.
Yes, because there's a lot of people that don't want to put a label on a relationship because they're like, why? Well, what's the point? What does that give you by putting a relationship on it? Well, first let's answer that. Why do we need to put a label on it?
Well, I think because you want to know where you stand.
Exactly.
And here's another one about situationships. It feels emotionally involved, but lacks structure and commitment.
Absolutely. Let's put two individuals, got a man and a woman. All right. Well, today we're going to use the man as a bad guy. She's emotionally invested.
Okay.
She's head over heels. This is the one for her. He's not. He likes hanging out with his friends, but he will go over and spend time with her, but they don't hardly go out together. That's a lot. There's a lot of relationships like that because he wants to still remain single, but have something tangible and easy to have
on the side. Yeah.
So you have one party that's thinking, oh yeah, this is it. I'm going to marry this guy. And he's saying, well, no, I'm just going to keep you going until we see where it goes. It is what it is.
Right. Kind of like what I said, going with the flow.
Going with the flow. So that, believe it or not, a lot of people don't understand that by giving a label, give you some form of commitment.
Right.
You've heard it from the other person saying, yes, I want to be with you. I want to invest my time in you.
Mm-hmm.
This is a real thing. Now, other men and women that actually say it, they want to be with you and they love you. Of course they are. There's some out there that give you all the hype, but they're not.
Right. Well, Professor, I have some clarity tests.
Go ahead.
Situations. Okay, one, if someone asked me, this is what you would ask yourself. If someone asked me what we are, could I answer confidently? That's a question you ask yourself for the listeners to kind of see where your place is in this relationship. So if someone asked you what you are, could you answer confidently?
That's a good question because most of them can't.
Right.
Most of them can't. You have to. We've done a podcast where you've got to know who you are. You've got to be confident in who you are.
Correct.
I'm not talking about the baddies. I'm this, I'm that. We're not talking about them. We're talking about people who have some common sense. And if I've pissed off some people, who cares? The plain and simple thing is, if you don't have confidence and self-worth in yourself, then you're never going to be able to answer that question. You got to have that. And you've got to be able to say, you can't go with the feeling or he's so cute or she's so cute. There's more to life than that.
Right.
If it's just looks, they got a cute butt, nice face, big boobs, that all shrivels away, you know? I'm going to quote one of my favorites, Just Judy, beauty phase, but dummies forever.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. And another question that one can ask themselves is, have we actually had a conversation about this, about where we're going, about what is this?
Let me ask you this. Are people afraid to have that conversation?
It could be.
And why are they afraid?
They don't want to hear the truth.
There you go. You said it. They don't want to hear the truth.
Right.
Because they're afraid of having the conversation because they're afraid to lose them.
Right.
If you lose them, they weren't for you. Because if someone really wants to be with you, they'll have that conversation. And we're not talking about on day 2, you're going, oh, do you love me? Do you want to be with me? That's not what we're saying. The conversation should be after a few dates. So, hey, where is this going?
Right.
What are you looking for out of this?
Right.
Here, is this a friend thing? What are we? You got to have that because you need to know if that person is in line with where you're thinking. And if they're not, then say, okay, shut the door, let them go.
Those are good points. Now I have a takeaway. Kind of to sum up what you were saying, actually, if it hasn't been defined, it's not automatically a relationship. It's an assumption.
Ooh, girl, you just said it right there.
Yeah.
And how many times do people make an assumption?
Yes. You want to be clear when you want to be in a relationship. You should be clear about it.
Absolutely.
Not assuming, well, how's your relationship going with John or Mary? Well, I think it's going okay. We've had, we go out, we have a good time, and sometimes I don't see him for a while, but it's going okay.
That's a situationship.
So, yeah, if it can't be defined confidently, if you're not confident in what you have, then you're assuming.
And I'm going to say it, and I don't care. When you give up the cookie, when you give it up so quickly, it makes you easy.
And it makes you think that you're in a relationship because, as you said, mostly women's emotions are tied into the sex.
Exactly.
Not so much on many guy parts.
Yeah. No, it's true.
On the guy's parts.
It's true. You got to understand that, as women, you have to have some self-respect for yourself. And if you're sleeping with somebody on the first night, then you have to be prepared for the consequences that this may not be a real thing.
Right.
If you're going into this and if this is what you want, I'm not saying it's a terrible thing or whatever. What I'm saying is that you can't go into it thinking that afterwards he's in love with you or she's in love with you, whatever it is. It happened. You let it happen. So you have to be prepared for what the consequences is afterwards.
Right. And a lot of women, again.
Men and women.
Right. But again, a lot of women will take that intimate moment of sexual pleasure and they'll ride that wave like a white horse.
Yep.
And until they find out that didn't mean anything to the guy you slept with.
Nope.
Now, I do have some points. Consistency versus convenience. You want to hear some of those?
Go for it.
Okay. In a relationship, communication is reliable. That means that you're going to be talking with that person on a regular, not just floating conversations or floating calls. And then with the relationship, effort is steady, not mood-based. And I'm going to finish the last one. We'll go discuss it. The third point being consistency versus convenience. In a relationship, you feel considered in their decisions. So all this is, you're going to hear from them on a regular, not just floating calls once in a while and getting excuses of why you haven't heard from them. And the effort is steady and it's not mood based. It's not, oh, I think I want a little piece of that tonight.
Right.
Kind of what you were saying earlier. And hit it and quit it.
That's it.
So, and then in situationships, here's the difference. Communication is off and on. Effort increases when it suits them. What we're saying, when they're ready for a hot night.
When he's bored or she's bored, you get a phone call.
And then you often feel like an option, not a priority. So get these notes down.
Yeah. And what we mean by consistency, we're not talking about, they've got to call me 20 times a day. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about that they're in communication with you, that they've called you every other day or maybe every day, whatever it is that it develops to, and it remains consistent. If it was only for a short while just to get you, because there's a lot where the consistency is there,
right?
But then they've got what they want and the consistency starts dropping off.
Yeah, I was going to make that point.
Yeah. So, sorry, I stole your point there.
No, that's... We're on the same page.
I know I do that a lot.
For a change, huh?
Yeah. But, because trust me, guys, we don't always agree on stuff.
Right.
But that's one of the big things is if there's time before you two are jumping in the bed, you get that time to look at the situation, take a step back and say, is this person interested in me or interested in getting me into bed?
Good point. Now, what about emotional security check? You want to look at some of those points of emotional security check? Okay, in a relationship, you feel safe. You feel valued and reassured. And second point is you're not constantly questioning where you stand.
That is, say that again.
You feel safe. The first point is you feel safe. You feel valued and reassured. And the second point is you're not constantly questioning where you stand. You don't have to ask, what is this? As a matter of fact, guys from my earlier days, I think things have changed now, but guys who are really interested in you, or girls, or the young lady who's really interested in you, they will let you know. Because sometimes the guy is in wondering, where do we stand? Is this going to go any further? I want this, but I don't want to be too aggressive. So they're kind of waiting for the young lady to kind of define what it is.
Yeah, but it's changed so much because men have also come to a point where they stop asking because they get tired of women rejecting them or treating them like they're nobody. Like a man will go up to a lady in the bar and say, "Hey, my name's so-and-so, please," or
Did you just do the hand thing?
Yes, I did. You like that? Please, and, or, get away from me. When you start doing stuff like that, over the years, it has just turned men away. If you were just to be respectful and nice and say, "Hi, I'm my name's so-and-so. I'm not looking to be with anyone this evening. I'm out with some friends." Be nice about it. You don't have to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of women who complain how men don't approach them because men don't want to have to go through the rejection, the rudeness.
Right, right. And if I might make a point with what you're saying is you may be shunning off Mr. Right.
Exactly.
He may not look what you're looking for, but what you're looking for hasn't been working.
Yeah, there's an old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm going to give you an example. A man goes to a dealership to buy a car. Mm-hmm. He's dressed in shorts, T-shirts, and flip-flops. And then you have a guy that shows up in a fancy car and a suit and everything. He goes strutting in there. You got two individuals that you think could buy a car.
Excuse me, Professor. You said the second guy came in with a fancy car?
Yes.
So why is he buying a car? Well, why is he at the car dealership if he has a fancy car already?
He's looking to upgrade. Hello.
I had that visual. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe you want a fancy car. I'll trade my car and I get a fancy car. Questioning my fancy car. So you got these two guys. A good salesman will never discount the guy that's got the shorts on or the guy that's got the suit on, because he has no idea until he starts talking to them and creating dialogue. Then he starts going, okay, the guy in the flip-flops and the T-shirt, he's wanting to buy a car.
Right.
The guy that's in the suit, he's just looky-loo. So women don't always look at a guy because he's not got what. There's a show, and you know it, and it's the one where they pop the balloons.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
You can learn a lot from that show.
Yes.
And these women will reject men because of his belt or because of his shoes. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, of how they're dressed. I don't like the way you're dressed.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You're going to reject a man because of the belt he wears or because of the shoes, or you don't like the color of his pants.
Yeah.
That's what we've become. That's why men don't approach women, because women judge men with stupidness.
Right. Right. And can I make a comment about that car thing?
Yeah.
He could have borrowed the car.
Exactly.
It can probably not even his, but right. Don't judge what you see. Get to know someone.
Absolutely.
Get to know their heart. Get to know their mind space.
I'll tell you a quick story. I had gone to a bar with a friend, and on my keychain, I had a Porsche. keychain.
Okay.
And it was sitting there on the bar. These ladies came over and they were sitting next to us, and me and my friend were just talking. And the lady was sitting next to me. He goes, "Oh, you have a Porsche?" Right away, I know this is not about me. It's about my car.
Right. She didn't ask you, how are you doing?
Right.
Oh, you have a Porsche.
That was it. "Oh, you have a Porsche?" And she went to touch my keys, and I pulled my keys off to the side. Not ask me my name.
Right.
Not ask me who I am. What do you do? Nothing. The first thing out of her mouth was, "Oh, you have a Porsche?" This is what men have to deal with, the shallowness. This is why men stop talking to women, because they get tired of it.
And it's more today that people are looking to see what you have versus who you are.
Exactly. Get to know the person, because, and I'll give you a perfect example. The other lady tried talking to my friend. Now, he's dressed in t-shirt and a short, and she's not really giving him much peace of mind, because he actually came out to have a drink with me.
Right.
I called him at the last minute. I'm leaving the office. He's leaving work, and neither one of us really cared about how we look, because we weren't going to pick up anybody.
Right.
But she didn't even give him the time of day.
Wow.
And when we were leaving, they were getting a cab or whatever, because they left a little bit before us, and they were out there waiting. I get in my car. It's not a Porsche. But my friend has a Lamborghini.
Wow.
And she starts heading over to his way, and he just waved goodbye and drove off.
There you go.
She wouldn't even give him the time of day, but the moment she saw the car that he was getting in. The car. But if she had taken the time to get to know him, he's worth money.
Right.
But that's the problem, is that they judge a book by its cover.
And and it happens so
much.
So
I mean,
much.
that TV show, and I'm not knocking the TV show by any means. And I hope that, people have long-lasting relationships from it. But some of the stuff, because I've even heard the director of the show, whatever, even criticize some, tell these women, come on, this is ridiculous.
Right. Because they're rejecting the contestant that comes through based on height, based on what they're wearing, based on you have a nose piercing.
Do you understand that you want, all these women want a man that's making six figures, he's tall, he's this, he's that, and the percentage is so small.
Right.
All these women are fighting for the same man.
And most of them not getting any.
And got nothing. And then they want to complain there's no good men. No, they're good men. You just don't want the man because you don't like his belt or his shoes or his haircut.
Right. Now, getting to the emotional security checklist for situationship. Here we go. You feel uncertain, anxious, or overthinking. Like, well, maybe this might be long term.
I don't call that overthinking. I call that wishful thinking.
Right. This might be it.
And that's the problem, is we want something so bad that we will forego everything else.
Right.
It's like, for a woman, they walk down the street and they see the handbag in that store, and you go, oh my gosh, that's what's a brand?
Louis Vuitton.
And they go, I gotta have it. They will go in and they will buy that bag and not pay rent just because they want it. And it's the same thing with a guy. They will go after a guy because they want it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know nothing because you think he's going to do something for you.
Right. So feeling uncertain and anxious and overthinking, if you're uncertain about where the relationship is, if you're anxious about it, I wonder is he going to call me tonight? Are we going to go out this weekend?
It's all wishful thinking.
Yes.
If you have to think like that, then there's something wrong.
Right. Now listen to the next one. You replay conversations and look for hidden meaning.
Yeah.
Again, the hidden. Well, he kissed me. We had sex a few times, and no complaints there.
And he told me he really liked me, and we woke up and had coffee together. So maybe he wants to be with all these things that you put the wishes
right
in there to fill the void.
Right. You look for the hidden meaning.
Yeah.
There's some, these things that are happening, maybe, just maybe, he really wants me. Maybe.
And I wish that when I leave here and I open that door, there's going to be a pot of gold outside.
Right. And the last emotional security check that you should check yourself with it in a situationship, asking yourself, you're afraid to ask direct questions. You're afraid to say, okay, where is this going?
Yeah.
Again, as you said, I think earlier in the podcast, they're afraid to hear the truth. They're afraid to hear, that he might say or she might say, no, I don't think that this is going anywhere. When you ask, where is this long term? Are we dating? Well, maybe not.
Well, first off, if you've met someone and let's say you just talk on the phone and you've not been out anywhere, but you've been talking on the phone, then you have to ask yourself, what is this? If all you've done is talk on the phone for 2 months, then you have to ask yourself, well, what is this?
Right. And have not seen each other in between.
Yeah, nothing in between.
Chatting.
You just talked once, a couple of times a week. You have to ask yourself, what is this?
Right. And if you have to ask, that was
right.
If you have to ask, then, and it's not clear, then it may be a situationship.
Because you can meet someone out and that type of thing could be maybe that person's married. And they're trying to keep you on the down low.
Well, that happens.
Exactly.
Now, future talk or lack of it. In a relationship, there are open conversations about the future. So you're going to be talking about moving on, the next level, as they say. And then in a situationship, future conversations are avoided, vague, or shut down. And you hear things like, let's not rush. Or let's just enjoy the moment. Or why put pressure on it?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Don't put pressure on me right now.
Yeah.
I've got a lot going on.
Yes.
And if you have a lot going on while you're in a relationship, why are you trying to get in a relationship if you don't have your shit together?
Right.
Plain and simple.
Or why isn't that the first thing you talk about? Listen, I have a really high pressure job and I don't have a lot of time to date or to see you, but we can kind of see and catch up when we can. Why isn't that right up front? So exactly. you'll know where you stand.
Because that may be not what you want, but a lot of women or men and women will settle for that because they want somebody so bad.
Yes.
Don't settle for that. You are worth more than that. Have confidence in yourself.
Now, I do have reasons why people stay in situationships. You want to hear those?
Far away.
Okay. Listeners, are you taking notes?
I can hear it right now. Here we go.
All right, the first, and I'm going to say it again. These are reasons why people stay in situationships. Fear of losing the connection.
God, yep.
Number 2, hoping it will turn into more.
Oh, yes.
Number 3, avoiding difficult conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, confusing chemistry without commitment.
Let's address the first one.
Okay. Fear of losing the connection.
Oh, I'm trying not to let this podcast go on
right.
5 hours, but I'm going to tell you, so many men and women are afraid to let it go because they think they're in something. They're scared of losing that. They hold on to it because they believe they're in something.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Yeah.
You've got to learn to let go and think about yourself Not saying being selfish person, but think about your own self. Is this something you want to get into?
Right. Because if you want more, if you are looking for a relationship and all these questions and situations come up of not hearing from them and not knowing where you stand, and you can't even talk about where we are because they may be upset or just give you some off the wall answer. If you want a relationship and it's not going the way you want it, what do you say, Professor?
Shut the door. Let it go. Close that door and move on.
Take a walk.
Your sanity and your peace of mind and your health means more to you. And that's what it should be. Give me the next one.
Well, here's some questions. For the reasons, hoping it will turn into more.
How many times have we heard that?
You stay in it hoping that it turns into more.
It is this wishful thing. They hardly call you. They come around only when they want something. And they only take you out at night. Or if they take you out, they take you somewhere far away, not in their neighborhood.
Wow.
I had a client. She said, but it's really nice. We go out and we go out far for dinner. Sometimes I wonder why we have to go so far to a restaurant, but I think he wants to try something new. No, he don't want people to see you out with him because he's got something else going on.
Again, maybe even married.
Yeah. So you have to stop and not put it as, oh, he wanted to take this wonderful. You got to wait a minute.
Think
about it.
Use your head.
Stop thinking that you're in a relationship when you're not.
Got it. Now, the next one is avoiding difficult conversations where you can't talk about, again, you can't bring up, where's this going? Are we going anywhere? Are we dating? What do we do?
Well, I hate to cut you off, but I'm going to do it. And I know you told me off later, I don't care. But here's the thing. If you can't have the conversation, and what I mean by having a conversation, that means I'm not talking about, where you been? Why aren't you calling me that? No, I'm talking about having a legitimate conversation and calm conversation and saying, so, hey, we've been going out now for 2 months. I just want to see, where your head is at, where do you see this going? Ask that question. Don't be afraid to ask it. And if you get a response back, well, right now I'm just kind of busy. I don't have time. Then you say, okay, great.
Or if they blow up.
Oh, yeah. Or if they freak out on you and like, why you got to make this, then hello.
Right. Think about it.
That's where you don't jump in and start arguing. You go, oh, okay.
Okay. I see where this is going.
Yeah. Hello.
And I see where it's not going.
There you go. There's your sign.
There's your sign. Confusing.
And what do? Close the door
and take a
get
walk.
The hell out.
Take a walk. And the last one was confusing chemistry without commitment. That's that intimacy. Oh, we have great chemistry. We finish each other's sentences and we have a really good time in the bed. We're made for each other. I can feel it.
Oh shit.
But no commitment.
When someone tells you that nonsense, oh, we're connected, we're together, we like the same cereal, we eat the same way, or we fart the same way. No, come on, that's all just fluff. And then you don't hear that from them again for another week, 2 weeks.
Now, granted, chemistry is important.
Yes,
but if you, again,
chemistry.
No, but again, if you're looking for a relationship, no, chemistry is important in relationships. But if you're looking for something long-term and it's just chemistry and no commitment, then that's your sign. Now, here's some questions that listeners, that you can reflect on. The first question, am I feeling secure or confused most of the time?
Say that again, because that was a little fast. I want them to hear this. Say it.
Am I feeling secure or confused most of the time?
And how many times do we hear people say, I'm confused? I don't know where this is going. I don't know what this is. If you have to say that, then you need to ask the difficult questions.
And these are some of the questions that you can ask, especially you can ask yourself. Here's another one. Is that person's actions matching what I need?
Yep.
And then here's a third. Am I accepting less because I don't want to lose them?
Oh, God, say that again.
Am I accepting less because I don't want to lose them?
And that is, oh my gosh, that is one of those that happens all the time. They will settle for less because they think that they have something.
Yeah, yeah. And I have a fourth. That you ask yourself, if nothing changed, would I be okay staying in this? So if nothing changed, they're not calling you as often as you'd like to. You're not seeing them as often as you'd like to. Am I okay with this? Am I okay being in a situationship?
A lot of both men and women make excuses for that behavior. Oh, they're busy. Oh, they have a lot going on. It's the same thing that somebody who's in a relationship with someone who's on drugs or an alcoholic, they make excuses for that person.
Right. And this is saying, okay, not making excuses, Professor, but this is this kind of saying that I can be okay with being in a situationship. So if someone asked me, how are you and Bob doing? How are you and Sarah Jane doing? Oh, we're good. So is this your boyfriend? No, we're in a situationship. Okay. If you're happy, yeah. If you're happy with that, then that's okay.
If that's what you want,
yeah,
you're okay with it. Because there's some men and women, and like there's women that prefer that because they're not tied down to anything. They get what they want. Man gets what he wants.
Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy now.
But that situationship has to be between two single individuals, because you have some that there's a situationship in the marriage. They have a side piece.
Oh, well.
And that's going to be one of our talking points, I hope.
Okay.
Side piece.
Okay. Well, I have some takeaways.
Fire away.
A relationship should not feel like guessing. Clarity is not pressure. It's respect. And lastly, with the right person, you won't be confused as to where you stand. Those are some takeaways. Now, Professor, I'm going to come with a conclusion and be ready for last words.
Go for it.
Okay. So at the end of the day, listen, listeners, at the end of the day, dating shouldn't feel like guesswork. You deserve clarity, respect, and ease from the start. Pay attention to the signs. Trust yourself and don't be afraid to walk away from what doesn't feel right. And lastly, the goal isn't to fix or figure someone out. It's to decide if they're right for you. So remember, if it isn't right for you, you are allowed to choose better.
And choose wisely.
Yes.
Because if you don't choose wisely, you'll be the one that gets hurt. And you have to know when to close the door and walk away.
Take a walk.
Yep. Put them running shoes on. And if you need some, call me. I'll send you some and run.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
Oh, before you close out.
Okay. You have a last word, Professor?
I got to thank our listeners. Thanks for all the awesome support. Thanks for the emails and all that.
Yes.
And we do this for you because we want to get this out. And if we can help one person, two people, three people, if we can keep helping people to get out of the situation they're in, or to not start a situation, or whatever we can do to help, this is what these podcasts are for.
Right, to give them even food for thought.
Yes, absolutely. And we hope that you take some of this and listen and listen or look for those signs that we tell you about. because we want you to be happy in a successful relationship.
Yes, definitely. And again, listeners, thank you for being a part of the relationship coaching group community. And if today's conversation resonated with you, remember that strong relationships don't just happen. They're built with awareness, communication, and the courage to grow together. And if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss future conversations about dating, relationships, emotional growth, and building deeper connection. And if you know someone who might benefit from today's topic, share this episode with them. And you can find us at relationshipcoachinggroup.com, and you'll find the emails, addresses, and you can stay in touch with us. Or if you have tips or suggestions, please don't hesitate. And until the next time, speak your needs clearly, listen without interrupting, and remember, you're not alone. Together, we got this.
We got you.